Yo, what is going on, Headliner Nation? It's your boy, The Doc, and in today's video, we're going to be counting down the top 5 NFL coaches of all time. Let's get into it. All right, before we get into the list, there's a couple things I did consider when making this list. I tried to be as thorough as possible. There's so many factors that make an amazing NFL head coach. I will say that I only used their head coaching experience when making and comparing these guys. I did not use any time they spent as a coordinator or any time as a GM after their coaching experience. It's only head coaching experience. I'll also say I'm a little biased. I did give more credit to coaches that made it to the Super Bowl versus NFL championships. I know there were great coaches prior to the Super Bowl era, but for me personally, I think that Super Bowls are more impressive than winning NFL championships prior to that. The league has gotten more competitive. There's more teams now, so I gave a little bit of a bump to coaches that won Super Bowls versus NFL championships, and I do have some honorable mentions, guys that just missed the cut. The two guys I have to mention before I get into my top 5 list that just barely missed the cut for the same reason, in fact, are 49ers coach Bill Walsh and Packers coach Vince Lombardi. Both guys had incredible runs as head coaches in the NFL, but both missed because they did not have long enough coaching careers for me to put them in my top 5. Longevity was one of the categories that I looked at when making my list, and both of these guys only coached for 10 years in the NFL. Even though they won multiple championships, even though they revolutionized the game with their offensive and defensive schemes, I just could not get them a spot in my top 5 list because they just didn't coach long enough. I've got Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs as my number 5 NFL coach of all time, one of just a few men who has taken not one but 2 different franchises to the Super Bowl, turned 2 different franchises around from a winning perspective, currently 4th all time in regular season wins, 3 Super Bowl championships in 5 appearances. All the dude does is win, and of all the coaches that we're going to talk about, he is the one that I think could continue climbing up this list. He has Pat Mahomes in his prime. There's no real reason for him to stop coaching at this moment. He's coming off back-to-back Super Bowl wins. I don't think that you can deny that Andy Reid is one of the best coaches of all time, and to me, you might as well just put him in your top 5 now. All right, at number 4, I've got Chuck Noll of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know, I get it. I'm a Steelers fan. People are going to say that I'm being biased, but just hear me out. 4 Super Bowls in 6 seasons. Chuck Noll was the master at turning a franchise around. He took the Pittsburgh Steelers, a franchise that had never done anything in the NFL, only won 1 game his first year as head coach, and turned that team into a Super Bowl champion in just 3 years. Now, he did struggle a little bit in the 80s. I'm not going to put him higher than number 4 on this list, but 4 Super Bowls has only been beaten by 1 other coach in NFL history. He's currently 9th all time in total career wins. The dude knew how to win, and I'm telling you, Chuck Noll's ability to develop homegrown talent in a league where that was vitally important to becoming successful is the reason that he deserves to be at number 4 on this list. At number 3, I've got George Halas with the Chicago Bears. Now, George Halas was nicknamed Mr. Everything because he literally did everything for the Bears. He was a co-creator for the NFL, played as a player, was their head coach for 40 years, and also served as the owner and executive for the team. But those 40 years are what we're going to focus on for this list. And in 40 seasons, he only had 6 losing seasons as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. 34 winning seasons as a head coach. I doubt we ever see that again, but we also will probably never see the route that he put on in the greatest blowout in NFL history, a 73-0 win in the NFL championship in 1940. George Halas won NFL titles in 4 different decades as a head coach. He's 2nd all time in NFL career wins in the regular season, and that's why he deserves to be on this list at number 3. All right, at number 2, I've got Don Shula, head coach of the Miami Dolphins and Baltimore Colts. 33 seasons as a head coach, only 2 losing seasons. Currently the all-time winningest head coach in the regular season, 328 wins. He went to an NFL championship with the Baltimore Colts, didn't win it, but did go, and then went to 6 Super Bowls with the Dolphins. Only got 2 wins, which is what's keeping him outside of the top spot, but he was an absolutely incredible coach. In those 6 Super Bowl appearances, he took 3 different starting quarterbacks. So something that really sets him apart from a lot of the guys on this list. He had a lot of turnover with these teams and continued to win over the course of 3 decades. Don Shula, one of the most legendary coaches in all of sports, and number 2 on my list. All right, and last but not least, at number 1, most of you have probably guessed it by now, but it's Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. 29 years as a head coach so far. He's got 6 Super Bowl wins, 2 more than the next closest guy, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 3 more than the next closest guy. He's 3rd all-time in wins, 2nd in total wins. He's just left no doubt that he is the greatest head coach that we have seen in the NFL, and love him or hate him, he is number 1 on this list. All right, that's it for my top 5 NFL coaches of all time. Is there somebody I missed? Is there somebody you want to have an argument or a debate about? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Let us know, show us a little bit of love. We'll keep doing videos like this in the future. Appreciate you guys that have joined the channel already. Hit the join button, become a member of Headliner Nation, join our exclusive Discord. We got all sorts of great content coming to exclusive members only this offseason, so make sure that you hit that join button. But that's all I got for you guys this week. We'll see you next time.